You're listening to Inside Lebo, a podcast giving you an inside look at Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, produced by Mount Lebanon's Public Information Office.
Hello and welcome to Inside Lebo. I'm your host, Assistant Municipal Manager and Municipal Planner, Ian McMeans.
And I'm Assistant Public Information Officer and Senior and Online Editor, Rachel Windsor.
In today's episode, we are going to explore the new fire training facility on Lindendale Drive and how it is setting a new standard for fire safety and training in the community. And we'll dive into the facility's features and how it's shaping our fire preparedness for both our career staff and volunteer fire departments.
So today we have with us Sean Daniels, Interim Fire Chief, and Pete Goslin, President of the Volunteer Firefighters. So why don't you start by telling us the backstory that led to the new facility?
Sure. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Rachel. This is a dream that started probably over 50 years ago with Chief Walther, which was a few chiefs ago, when it was identified that we really needed a dedicated training facility here in Mount Lebanon. It stayed pretty much a dream of ours for many, many years until this past year when we were able to erect a facility appropriate for our department and our department size.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So prior to the facility being built, what were you all doing for training?
You know, when we would be training, we would have to, I hate to call it make-believe, but we would create props that would try to simulate actual scenarios. Sometimes we would work in a parking garage using, here in the municipality, using the standpipes or the pipes you find in most stairwells to hook up to pretend that we're working in a real facility. We'd use traffic cones in parking lots to move hose lines. We'd be putting ladders up against the blank sides of brick walls, and on occasion we would get a facility or a building that would be either donated or allowed the fire department to use, a building that was being torn down or renovated, and we would train in there. However, that was really hit or miss of when we'd have those opportunities.
Gotcha. So this facility, how is it all kind of put together and built?
So this facility is built. It's kind of an interesting process. They're built using shipping containers. These are single-use shipping containers. They're an all-steel construction. They are once they're used for shipping products across the ocean, if you will, they will either go to recycling or some other facility. So the vendor purchases these and then builds the building out of them in a modular construction, kind of like a Lego set, if you will. And it's really neat because of the way they build it, they can really customize it to every single department and what they need and what their uses are. So one of the big benefits of this construction, one, is it's significantly cheaper than building a dedicated building. Two, it's also, quite frankly, a lot quicker because it can be built off-site. They'll build it, put it together, make sure everything works, disassemble it, put it on the back of a semi-trailer truck, haul it to the site, use a crane to lift it and put it in place, and just assemble it like Legos. If one of those containers should need to be replaced or adjusted or changed, it's a relatively easy process to do so, as opposed to if we had to renovate a building or change the layout of a static structure.
Great. So walk us through some of the features inside that the firefighters will be using to train.
Sure. So right off the bat, a multi-story structure. So what we were able to do is actually stack those shipping containers on top of each other, which allowed us to get up to 4 stories. That allows us to simulate a multi-story structure as well as a high-rise structure. Also, we have interior and exterior stairs, so we can simulate the idea of climbing through an interior stairwell. Also for residential as well as high-rise, so important there that we can, because we have both in town, that we can practice that way. There is a standpipe for a high-rise operation. Also with the shipping containers, what they've done is cut open and put windows in the containers, which allow us to deploy ladders to second, third stories, and then actually do a rescue out one of those windows, or actually go in and do a search from that level as well. There is a burn room, so we can actually burn inside the facility on those occasions when we decide to. And then finally, from a safety standpoint, we have anchor points both to anchor a ladder, as well as if we want a high-rise operation and we want to have somebody deploy out one of the windows, we can also have that rappelling set up so they can safely deploy out the window.
Nice. So it sounds like there's a lot of different ways that you all can use the one facility to train. So what makes this unique compared to some other places where our department has trained in the past, or what they might have at the County Fire Academy or things like that?
So from, in terms of some of the unique characteristics, one, very important that we can stay in town. One of the things we were mentioning was the fact that our crew can actually go down, work at the site, and still be on call, available to respond within the Mount Lebanon community. So not leaving town, a very important feature that we have in terms of in town versus out of town. The other one is the fact that we are able to incorporate that high-rise, multiple stories, and where we go out of town, oftentimes we can't do that, or they're two separate facilities. So those are some of the unique characteristics that we have for it.
And you mentioned, being able to stay in town and the advantage of that to be able to train. So before this was built, the next closest training facility was where?
North Hills.
Yeah.
Allegheny County Fire Academy. Right.
Yeah.
So it's North Hills.
North Hills and a North Park, and on a typical day, it's a 45-minute drive each way. On a day when we do training with our career staff, which may be heading up there at 8 a.m., going through the tunnels, as anyone who's from Pittsburgh knows, adds significant amount of time to the process. So that could be an hour and 15 minutes or more in lost training time.
And it's like a foreign country up there, as everyone that lives in the South Hills likes to say anyways. All right, great. So this was some wonderful information on the new fire training facility. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more information on the new fire training facility. Welcome back to Inside Lebo. We're here today discussing the new fire training facility that is down at the Public Works Yard off of Lindendale Drive with Sean Daniels, interim fire chief, and Pete Goslin, who's the president of the Volunteer Firefighters Association. So how will the new facility improve the overall fire safety and response efforts within the municipality?
So overall, one is the fact that we can respond from in town, incredibly important. It also allows us to practice real live evolution. So we're able to do from rolling up on scene to actually pulling the hose line to deploying that hose line, throwing the ladders, and then executing on the evolution. That full complement of skills that we're able to practice through one evolution is critically important for us. And being able to do that in town keeps the community safer because we keep more staff members right here.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I know something that a lot of residents will be asking, how often will there be live burns at the site? And could you walk us a little bit through the mechanisms behind the live burning chamber?
Sure. So the intent and the biggest benefit as a facility is not actually burning in it. It is a feature and it is an important skill that our membership has, but a lot of the use of this facility will be for searching, which doesn't require the live fire. We'll be throwing ladders and a lot of the stuff that Pete had referenced. However, since we do have the capability to do live burns in it, there is quite a bit of value in using it as such. So understanding that where we're located down there, we're in a valley, in a tight area, and we want to be good neighbors to the community. So really what we're looking for is to burn no more than 6 times a year. Quite frankly, it'll probably be significantly less than that. Again, because of the value of this building is not completely in the burn chamber. In looking at the facility, the actual burn room itself is located on the second floor, the second container up from the grade level there from the parking lot. And it's probably about 1/3 of the size of the chamber, and it's lined with special metal and insulation and special brick and some chain to hold up some boards. And the only thing we ever will burn in it is basic lumber. Not really atypical of what you burn in a campfire, just maybe a bit bigger. So it would be similar in style and what you'd expect from that situation. So again, we don't plan on using it all that frequently in that context. We will try to stay away from days where the smoke may hang in the valley, and like I said, we want to be good neighbors and respect the neighborhood, yet still provide the excellent training this facility will provide us.
And I know you did a presentation for the commission in their discussion session a few weeks ago, which if people are interested in seeing that, it's available on our municipal YouTube channel. But you also mentioned that with the way the facility's set up, you have the ability to use like smoke machines and things like that too, to kind of simulate some things without actually doing live burns as well.
Exactly. And that would be the predominant use. If you see, one of the things that we want to do is anytime we do happen to do live burning down there, we will, we're going to be very aggressive in our communication of that. So we don't want anyone to be surprised. One of the important pieces is notifying anyone within 400 feet, a little bit more, within radius of the building to let them know, hey, we're doing this, and you'll receive that via mail. But we also do Lebo alerts and Facebook posts, and just to keep the community informed.
Great. So with the facility being, basically the only one in the South Hills now, since everyone was going up to the training facility in the North Hills, will other fire departments in the region be able to use the facility and work with you there?
Absolutely. So the whole purpose of this building is designed as a regional asset. We got tremendous support from State Senator Representative Dan Miller, State Representative Dan Miller and Senator Wayne Fontana to help with the funding of this project and to get it up and off the ground for us. Part of that was to make it accessible for the South Hills Council of Government Fire Department member agencies, and the intent is to allow other departments to use it. Now, we have some very specific rules and things along the lines that we would follow to make sure that everything is done properly. And quite frankly, one of the things that we don't want this to become is a true training academy where it's used on a daily basis. So that's going to be controlled. But in the end, we operate as a training hub for new firefighters in the South Hills. So that would be used for that particular program. And then other departments that may have interest in using it, especially a lot of our mutual aid and automatic aid fire companies. So, if you ever happen to see an emergency in Mount Lebanon of any size, you're going to see fire departments like Dormont, Castle Shannon, Bethel Park, Upper St. Clair. And one of the big benefits of having a facility, in addition to all the great points that Pete made, was the fact that we now get to work with those mutual aid companies on a regular basis, as opposed to just kind of the one-off that we've historically been able to do.
And I'm guessing, like with most things, if you train together, then when you're on scene together, everything just kind of flows much better.
Exactly. You don't rise to your expectations, but fall to your level of training, and it's something we believe strongly in the fire department. So.
And another good point is the Citizens Fire Academy.
Yeah.
We, each year, Mount Lebanon sponsors the Citizens Fire Academy, and then we're able to use the facility for examples to showcase fire extinguishers, as well as search and allow members of the community to appreciate or go through some of the different exercises that we do, including a live burn day.
And that's a great point, too, about the Citizens Academy. We just wrapped up our most recent cohort of that. And there was 28.
We had 27 graduates of the program this year, which was our largest to date.
Nice.
Very popular, one of our more popular outreach activities.
That's great. We may have to do a future podcast on how to do the Citizens Fire Academy.
Absolutely. We have a few neighboring communities that are taking our lead and starting their own, which is something we're really proud of. Anytime we can kind of expand some of our learnings to our neighboring communities, we're really proud of it.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Sean and Pete, for telling us about Mount Lebanon's new fire training facility. And that's going to be it for this edition of Inside Lebo, produced by Marcia Morgenstern and Carrie Monod, with music by Drew Monod and graphics by Chris Leeper.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you would like more information on the fire training facility or the fire department in general, check out our municipal website, mountlebanon.org/fire. There's also the video from the commission discussion session on our municipal YouTube channel, which is MTL Meetings on YouTube, that Assistant Chief Daniels did for the commission, that had some pictures and fun graphics on the facility. And also check out the fire department's Facebook page for information on what all the department is doing, as well as information on potential live burns at the training facility. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Inside Lebo. We'll be back soon with another episode.
Thanks for listening to Inside Lebo, produced by Mount Lebanon's Public Information Office. Learn more about all things Lebo at mountlebanon.org or by following our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages.